Hey Diego, estoy haciendo un video, ¿ok? Gracias. Ok. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. From the title of the video, I want to talk about, before I want to talk about diversifying. So, want to jump right into that. I mean, not just diversifying as in selling within FBA or within Amazon, as in selling, books versus CDs versus DVDs versus vinyl versus getting into, retail arbitrage or whatever it may be. That's definitely a way to diversify just within FBA, or to even try doing more merchant fulfilled. But I mean, outside of FBA or outside of Amazon as well, you can also, is also what I mean or what I'm referring to. So I talked about this last year, maybe even the year before, when I was making videos more regularly about diversifying into other categories, into things that you enjoy or you might know something about, and trying to sell it either on Amazon or on eBay. And for me, what I ended up doing, well, within Amazon, I started with books, and then I slowly got into VHS tapes, actually, and then CDs, and I started doing some vinyl. I even sent in a few cassette tapes. I didn't send in that very many, and I didn't sell that many, but I tried that a little bit. But then I also, diversified into eBay last year in April's when I put up my first stuff for sale on eBay. And one thing, though, that I was doing also was trying to sell electronics on Amazon, specifically VCRs, DVD players, VCR DVD combo players. Mostly that's what I was selling on Amazon. I sent a few in FBA, and then I also sold, and then I also sold some merchant fulfilled as well. But then what I decided to do is kind of go back to that and get back into electronics and try out basically VCRs, DVD players, but also things like cassette players, like tape cassette players, boomboxes, things along those lines. If there's other things that I happen to come across, random electronics that I can learn about, then that would be good as well. But so this is something I've done before. I haven't gotten too deep into it, as in I didn't sell a ton of it, but I want to. The idea is for me is to learn eBay better, and also to bring up my average sale price in general. I mean, on eBay, but also just in general across the board. So I wanted to show you a piece I have here as an example. Oh, hello, Catherine. Cool. I'm glad you're able to watch me live. I hope it's worth it. Definitely not edited, so whatever happens, happens. Whatever goes down. So glad you're here. So I wanted to show you. I went to Goodwill today and spent $4.99 on this. Well, it's called CD radio cassette recorder. Whoops, what am I doing? Here it is. So it's Sony. I believe it's from '99. I think it was manufactured in '99, because I went online to look for the user manual, and I think it was from '99. But this can kind of be like a boombox, even though it's not really like a traditional old school '80s boombox they were really tall and wide and had the 2 tape decks and the huge speakers, and were kind of like aesthetically kind of, you know, kind of crazy looking, just sort of, I mean, not crazy looking, but, you know, a little more aesthetically pleasing. This one is more common, but I mean, in terms of the way it looks, not really a boombox, but you can kind of classify it as that. So I looked it up on eBay when I was at Goodwill, and it looked like it was actually pretty popular. It was, it had been selling pretty consistently into January, and I think it sold one or two times in February as well. And it varies. It's going for like, I believe it was like $40 to $50, but closer to $50, like 45 to $50 plus shipping. Most people were charging the shipping, you know, not giving free shipping. So I got it for $4.99, which, you know, was crazy low price. I was surprised at how low it was. I was been cleaning it up. I tested it. I tested most of it at Goodwill. So I tested the radio, which worked, and the sound worked, volume and all that. And I put a CD in it from Goodwill, and that worked, but I didn't have a cassette. So I came home and I have a bunch of cassettes in the garage. So it works, but in between the songs, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. It kind of makes a little bit of a noise, like the piece that is, you know, when it turns the tape here, there's a little bit of a noise it makes. It's not super loud, and it doesn't seem to affect the way it sounds, but it's something that I'll definitely mention when I list the item. I don't think it should affect the price that much. Maybe I'll lower it a little bit, but anyway, this would be the first time I believe that I would sell something exactly like this, because I've sold a few dozen VCRs and DVD players or combos like that. I don't know if I've sold a tape player, but I was looking at another couple tape players that Goodwill had, but one of them was too expensive. Their prices, it can be, sometimes it can be low, sometimes it can be a little bit higher. It just depends on the Goodwill, and also if it's half off. If it's half off, that's great. So yeah, this is a niche that I enjoy, because it kind of, for me, it's natural to go into this niche because I love music and I love movies. So, you know, back from when the VHSs were big, you know, I used to have VHS collection, and we'll watch VHS tapes way back when in the 80s and whatnot. So that's a whole nother niche, but that's something that I like to sell as well, because if you look on eBay and on Amazon as well, a lot of VHSs, or rather VCRs, are selling because no one's making them brand new anymore. So there's a finite amount out there, and people that want them are going to have to go on Amazon or eBay to find them. And there's a ton of them out there, and people still have them. Believe it or not, people still watch tapes. And people listen to cassette tapes, and they want a boombox. And, you know, not everybody streams music and uses, you know, Netflix only and that type of thing. Oh, Terry's here. Cool. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free. There's only a couple of us here. There's only 2 of you, so which is fine. But if you have anything to say, let me know, or questions. So yeah, so I just kind of wanted to get back into the niche because I wanted to try to make a higher average sale price, basically. And these are pretty easy to sell. I made videos in the past, which you guys probably know about selling electronics, and it's not that difficult. I mean, when I first started doing it, I was only selling them on Amazon, but you know, I've gotten into eBay now, and so I just want to try out eBay. I mean, you know, some stuff might sell higher on Amazon, but I just don't feel that confident sending in stuff FBA. I can sell some stuff merchant fulfilled on Amazon and possibly get higher amount than eBay, but I kind of like the idea of just, you know, cleaning it up, snapping some photos, putting it on eBay, and just keeping it myself and seeing what it goes for. Also, the good thing about eBay is, at least for now, hopefully into the future, is once you sell something, your money's immediately available in PayPal. So that's another huge benefit. Unlike Amazon, where unless you've been there a long time and you're grandfathered in, You know, you have to wait every 2 weeks to get a. Sorry guys, I got a text. Fun part of live video. Um, you have to wait every 2 weeks to get paid. So I know people that have been at Amazon forever, you know, like way longer than I have. I believe they're getting either daily payouts or something like that. So anyway, that's another big reason to try out eBay at least. I'm not saying, you know, stop using Amazon. I definitely am not going to do that, but it's a nice way to diversify and sell certain types of items. And if you want your money immediately, for whatever reason, to buy more stuff, to spend or pay bills or whatever it is, then you know, eBay is a great option for that. And you can sell all kinds of stuff on there without a bunch of restrictions and worrying about them not letting you sell something like Amazon likes to do all the time. So that's another, you know, nice option or variety or whatever you want to call it of selling on eBay. Let's see. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty cool piece. I mean, I have right now, I have one VCR that's been sitting on eBay for several months now, and for whatever reason, it's just not selling. So I might have to try a new strategy of how to sell it. I guess it wasn't a very good pick on my part because it has not sold yet. I have two. Let's see. I have a VCR, and then I have another like VCR DVD player on sitting in my office, but they're listed on Amazon Merchant Fulfilled, and they haven't been selling, even though the rank was pretty good. So part of the problem might be that the FBA offers are beating me out. So I think what I might do is just list those on eBay and see if I can sell them quicker on eBay. See what happens with that. But you know, those for whatever reason have not been selling, even though I've been competitive with the pricing. And I actually took photos of those and put them on Amazon. I'm also probably being a little impatient, but when it's a bigger item, you know, even, you know, I'd like to sell it a little quicker, but as long as I can kind of build up, you know, or have them selling pretty consistently, I'm pretty happy with it. Because most of the stuff I sell on eBay are CDs, individual CDs, individual books and DVDs, and then I'll do lots, which I do auctions for, and those get out of here within a week or so. And so anyway, so my idea is, though, to diversify is to start consistently every week going to Goodwills and other thrift stores where I know they have VCRs or just electronics in general, and trying to get at least, my goal would be probably to source and list anywhere between like 3 to 5 a week. So that would be about you know, 12 to 20 a month or so. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to fit it in here and there, and find some places that have good, or find some good thrift stores that have some better quality electronics, used electronics. So yeah, I mean, in terms of shipping this kind of stuff, you just have to be careful. You just gotta wrap it up tightly and securely. Maybe put it in one box with lots of bubble wrap or whatever around it, and then close that up, put that inside of another box, kind of a thing. So unless someone's like throwing it off a building or, you know, driving over it, it's probably going to be secure. And, you know, there might be returns, but probably not. In my experience, hasn't been a big issue. Yeah. Yeah, I get it, Terry. Totally. I mean, he's commenting about how he has a finite amount of space where he lives in his apartment, and I totally understand. I totally get it, and that was one of the reasons that I loved FBA, or still love it, is because I would source a bunch of stuff, bunch of books, list it, and just get it out of my house, right? And then they would deal with the logistics, and that's part of what I still love about it, and why I'll continue to do FBA. Yeah, I mean. But it's just, I think, I used to think that Merchant Fulfilled or eBay was a crazy idea because of that, having to store stuff, but I don't mind it as much. And now that I'm in bulk and trying to diversify and make some more money in different ways, I don't mind doing a little bit of that. I also have a storage unit, so I'm not storing my stuff there that I list on eBay and Amazon, Merchant Fulfilled, but it's a place that I could if I get really heavy into eBay and into Merchant Fulfilled. Probably more eBay than Merchant Fulfilled, though. Fashion Outlook says, if I was to just, I believe, do FBA, I would be broke. Okay, well, then it's good you're not just doing FBA for sure. I assume you're referring to the higher fees. Definitely, well, Terry's an example of someone who started, a few years back, probably a little soon after I did, when I started making videos, who has increased his average sale price for books that he sells FBA to kind of deal with that issue. It's not necessarily easy or simple, but if you can find good sources, and whether it's books or CDs or DVDs or clothes or electronics or whatever it is, or groceries, if your profit margins can go up a little bit, or if you can sell items that are higher priced, to kind of deal with those fees, it's a good way to combat that. But for sure, FBA or Amazon has taken a bigger chunk last year, and it looks like they might increase fees a little bit more this year as well. So that's why I think it's good to diversify and try eBay and try Merchant Fulfilled. They don't take as well. eBay is, let's see, I think it's less than 15% the fees between PayPal and eBay for any of the items I sell. So compared to Amazon, where I sell I sell a $9.95 or a CD for $9.95, and I get paid $4.25, which is less than half. So considering I get those CDs for pennies or nickels, that's a great profit margin. But that's a big chunk. Imagine if eBay took over 50% of our profits. That would suck. Okay, so Luis asks, how would you scale your book business if you don't have space to get into Gaylords? Currently have 700 books in inventory, but I find it harder just sourcing from thrift stores. So if you don't have room for Gaylords, like your garage, or you can't afford or not willing to do or there are no storage units, and it's also hard to find, Gaylord sources for sure. I definitely can understand that. I would ask number one, if you're going only to thrift stores, or are you going to other sources aside from thrift stores, Luis? So, hi. So are you going to? So for instance, I started with thrift stores, but I also then got into garage sales and estate sales, as well as library book sales. And then also you can try like Craigslist and local apps to see if people are selling off, big book collections. You might be able to make a deal where you can go and scan what they have, and then, pay them a buck a book or whatever it is, whatever deal you make. Or you can maybe haul the books away, and quickly go through them, scan everything that's good, and then just go donate the rest of it so you don't have it in your possession. Have you tried anything beyond thrift stores? That would be my first question. 700 in inventory is a good amount for sure. Also, I would ask what your sell-through rate is. Is it at least like 20%, which is probably a good sell-through rate if you're selling 20% of 700 books a month. Let's say you average 700 books in inventory a month, so that would be 140 books a month, which is a nice little income stream. If you can get it even above that, that's great. But also, where is your average sale price? Because another way to deal with that, not being able to find enough books, is to, which is not easy, but to try to find higher priced, higher valued books. So instead of sending in more, $10 to $15 books, try to send in more $15 to $20 books, or higher, 20 plus. And I totally get it. It's not easy to do that, but these are different strategies. That would be my recommendation, is use different sources other than thrift stores. If you're not doing that, if you're already doing that, try to increase your average sale price, try to look elsewhere, try to look into bulk, not necessarily Gaylords, but maybe like bulk buys. Go to a thrift store and say, hey, do you have books that you can't fit on the bookshelves? And if so, would you mind letting me go back there and look through them, and I'll pay you whatever you want for them, because otherwise they're just sitting there not making them any money. A lot of thrift stores will be happy to do that. Oh. He says library sales too. Those are great. I'm actually selling anywhere between 1% and 2% a month. Okay. I would say Luis, number one then is to work on improving your sell-through rate. Okay. So a couple things. Number one, you might be sending in books that don't sell that fast. And that could be a good thing if these are higher priced, higher valued books. Less competition, but potentially they could sell for like over 20 bucks, 25, $30, whatever it is. I say anything over $20 is worth keeping in storage for months. Because even if you keep it in storage for 3, 4, 5 months, and you can sell it for, $25, $30 or higher, then that's probably worth it, assuming you're not paying too much per book to source it. A book sells for 20 bucks. Depends on the weight, but roughly you're going to get like 11 bucks, 12 bucks, I think, unless it's a really heavy book. So if you paid $1, that's like 10 times your money, which is not bad. So yeah, I would say, if you're sending in books that aren't selling quickly, but they should be, then maybe there's too much competition, or maybe you're not pricing low enough. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a good point. Also repricing, but that's what I mean. So depends on the books you're sending in, how fast they should be selling based on the competition and the prices, and your prices, right? So if a book is ranked really low, like under 10,000, and it's selling consistently like around, $9.95 or something like that, 10 bucks. If you're pricing at 11 bucks, it's going to take a while to sell if there's a bunch of other offers. So, you get the point, right? Reprice, that type of thing. Hopefully that helped. I'm trying to follow up here. Kind of getting lost in all the, let's see. Michael says, only problem with eBay is that it's harder to deal with feedback issues, as eBay tends to side with buyers, often evil and ridiculous issues. Yeah, I'm sure that'll come up. I mean, so far for me, for eBay, I've had pretty good feedback. Whoop-de-doo, where'd it go? Losing my train of thought. Yeah, so far I've done, I mean, knock on wood, I've had pretty good luck, or whatever you want to call it, with feedback. But definitely, I'm sure something will happen where somebody will will make some ridiculous claim or whatever it is. I've had a few issues where, like, I sold a lot of CDs, and the person, they said they only got like, out of 107 or so, they only got 60 something CDs in the mail, which was weird because I sent all of the CDs, which means somebody must have opened them, or that person was not telling the truth, even though they took pictures of them. But anyway, but they didn't leave bad feedback because I was open and honest with them. I would say just be open and honest, but yeah, for sure. Okay, Michael says thrift stores are understaffed, so there's always stores. We'll give you first crack at books. Yeah, for sure, definitely. Talk to the managers there. Never know what'll happen. Terry says that individually owned thrift stores are usually willing to let me look at books in the back if they have any. The chain thrift stores around here have strict, policies against that, like Goodwill or Savers, or I don't know, whatever other chain thrift store, Salvation Army that you have. Yeah, the employees are probably even the manager is probably not gonna let you do that, but the mom and pop thrift stores, the little religious thrift stores, that type of thing, you can probably talk to the manager, the owner, and the owner is probably there anyway, and just say, hey, do you guys have extra books? If they don't, then they don't. But if they do, say, hey, I would love to get a chance to look at them. I'll definitely pay you, whatever you're charging per book. And yeah, I mean, also, I don't mind helping you shelve some books, whatever it is. I mean, yeah, Luis. He says he's been trying to reprice more, so we will see how that goes. Yeah, I just repriced, not a ton, but some older books to try to sell them off, and I sold, 6 or 8 within a few days that were sitting there since 2016. So, I'm just trying to sell them off quickly to get them out of there so I don't have to pay the 15-cent fee to dispose of them. He says, Salvation Army by me, let him into the back, but that's because the manager is always short-staffed. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you don't mind potentially being, rejection, as in, someone saying, no, you can't go back there, then you might as well ask. It doesn't hurt, for sure. Sorry, guys, just checking something real quick. I don't know what it's talking about. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know where we went with this conversation. Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. So yeah, I mean, getting back to the point of the video is diversifying. I mean, whatever it is, if fees are too high, if books are scarce, diversifying is always a way to deal with that, to increase your profits, to make sure that you stay in this business for the long haul or for at least a few more years. Because definitely Amazon, one thing is for certain is Amazon's going to make changes for good and bad changes. So the fees will end up going up again a little bit, a lot, who knows. They might stop this category, close this category like they did music, close that category. You don't know. So it's good to sell other types of products on Amazon or to try out eBay or even try local, selling locally. There's so many, I mean, whether it's Facebook Marketplace, whether it's all the different apps OfferUp, whether it's Craigslist, you can sell locally as well. Find something in the thrift store, put it up for sale in Facebook Marketplace or whatever, if that's something you want to do. There's definitely ways to make money reselling, but I totally get that people want to do FBA exclusively or mostly because they don't have to keep all of that inventory in their house or garage or rent a storage unit or whatever it is. I understand. It can be, it can be kind of overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, Michael commented about focusing on textbooks will increase your average sale price for sure. If you want to focus on that, you can, you can look on Craigslist or on OfferUp or the different local apps on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and see if people are willing. I mean, if you can find some good deals, maybe someone's selling their textbook for $20, but it's going for $100. I mean, that's great. That's a great flip right there. Especially, maybe buy a bunch of those, hang on to them, and then when the back to school comes again in August, send them all in. Well, a little before then, but make your money back. So that's definitely, there's people that focus on textbooks or school books, and their average sale price is a lot higher. I mean, I've seen people anywhere from $30 to $50 and higher, even for people that really get into those $100, $200 textbooks. Some people even resellers, what do you call it? Textbook resellers will go door to door at the professor offices at universities. But, they have to have a bunch of cash, and you have to be willing to get rejected a lot, and you have to have some sort of spiel or, sales pitch or whatever it is to be able to talk to people. Let's check my email. So, yeah, so textbooks are definitely a way to go. I come across textbooks a lot, whether it's in the Gaylords, or, in the thrift stores or at books, not necessarily at book sales so much, but more at thrift stores and in Gaylords. I found plenty of high-priced textbooks, but there's ways to go about it for sure. Oh, okay. Luis says he's in Canada. So yeah, probably the sell-through rate is a little different there because the market's not as big. as the US, so that's definitely a component for sure. Keep that in mind. Yeah, definitely. So, but regardless, I would definitely look to reprice and see if you can, even if you can get the sell-through rate up to 5%, double it, more than double it, whatever. That would be great. You would make more sales, have less sitting there in storage, paying less fees, make more profit, get more money back quicker to buy more items. So I don't know really what the Canadian market is like at all. So, but it's smaller, that's for sure. Oh, whoops, what happened? Oh, Terry asked if I'm still using the, FBA scan. Yeah, I'm still using FBA scan and the KDC 200 for sure. That I had to get a new battery for the KDC, I think like a year ago, but roughly. But it's been fine since then. And FBA scan they seem to be good. A lot of people complain about their customer service, but they make regular updates to the app, and they seem to make good updates. And I use the live version, not the database, and that works fine. So I don't have an issue with it. It's $10 a month, $9.99 or whatever. So pretty inexpensive, and they have lots of tools. You can look at Keepa, Camel. They show you the current sales rank, the rolling 3-month sales rank, or average 3-month sales rank. They have other stuff on there. I mean, it's all I really need anyway, whether it's CDs or books or electronics or whatever. Where'd it go? Okay, so oh shoot. Oh, is it 6-month? I thought it was 3-month. Well, okay, Mug Meltman. On textbooks, how old of a book will you bother to buy? Newer books. Oh, I mean, it depends. So I'm gonna have to cut this video in like a minute or so. I'm gonna have to cut the video, guys. But I have to go. But in terms of, okay, sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed. So in terms of the textbooks, yeah, I mean, I would just go by. Don't worry about how old it is. Just base it on the sales rank, the sales history, how many offers there are, what the prices are, that type of thing. Oh. $10 years or newer, yeah. All right, guys, so this has turned into a longer video. I've tried to make them a little shorter these days, but I gotta go. I really appreciate it. We're up to 8 people watching. It's awesome. If anyone shows up, that's great. I'll do another one tomorrow. And remember, guys, keep booking, and I will talk to you tomorrow.